All right, welcome back to another episode of Fogdog and Basten. We're coming at you today with a virtual episode, sadly. This is our first virtual episode where it's just the two of us over Zoom. So hopefully it all works out pretty well. I'm in England now. Basten, you're still in America, preparing for nationals. How's everything going? Talk us through it.
It's going well. I'm just kind of starting to cut my mileage a little bit just in advance for this great nationals meet. Training's been going well, not really injured or anything. Pretty sore after gym, but that'll get better in a few days. So we're just getting ready. How about you? What are you up to?
Yeah, just on that, did you gym yesterday as well? I know you did a pretty filthy workout, but did you have gym as well?
Yeah, I did after that, later on in the day, at 5 p.m. ish, but I worked out in the morning. So I was well and recovered by then, but it still obviously hurt a little bit.
Filthy workout you had. We'll follow in the footsteps of some of the pros and keep it a big secret, because keeping your training secret is the new cool thing to do. It's actually on Strava if anyone wants to check it out. Isaac Basten. But yeah, no, good stuff. Yeah, I think you're looking like you're coming into some pretty good form going into nationals. Yeah, for me, I'm back in England. Got back 3 days ago, and I actually just got back from a run, and I did 4 by 120 meters quicker. First time running quick in a month. I doubled today. I did 5 miles this morning, and then three and a half this afternoon with strides. And I'm hoping tomorrow that I can get a little bit of a workout in. Nothing big, but just kind of, I guess, ease my way back into workouts. Basically, it's 3 weeks today. Is the British 1500 champs, and I still plan on racing. It's been not the ideal lead up, but hopefully I can still race all right and see what happens, maybe try and scrape into the final and see how we go. But it will all kind of depend on how the next 3 weeks go. But yeah, looking forward to it. I'm potentially going to race in about 10 days from now, just try and shock the legs a little bit, get them back under me, and just try and get ready to get back into race mode again. So we'll see, but overall going all right. Back in England, obviously my NCAA season, potentially career, is done now. So yeah, fun times. But it's been another hectic few weeks. Conference was 3 weeks ago, something like
that. Yeah, I think so.
Actually, yeah, I think it is 3 weeks ago. You ran the 1500. Reasonable field, to be honest, for our conference. The Missouri Valley, historically not one of the stronger ones, but you ran the 1500. Talk us through it. Your prelim, I guess, first. Two prelims, wasn't it? Yeah, how did it
go? It went well. The prelim was kind of a jog. We ran 4 minutes in the 1500, closing in 54-ish. But that's really just kind of what prelims are. It's never usually that fast, but generally once you get to the national level meets, it gets a little bit quicker. But when you're at the conference level, it's kind of just about getting there and closing hard. But after making it to the final, I knew it was kind of me, and there were 2 other runners that kind of had a chance, Jason Clayton from Loyola, who just broke 4 minutes actually in the mile. Good for him. Yeah. And then Jay Gillum from Illinois State, who's run 343. Clayton's run 342, and then I had run 339 at the time. So I was a pretty heavy favorite. My PB was 3 seconds faster in the field. I knew I should have taken care of business. But and then the final was kind of a jog, just like the prelim. We went out really slow. And then kind of with 300 to go, I found myself in 5th place, a little bit boxed in, and I was like, oh crap, I kind of got some work to do. So I got onto the outside and I just kind of started decking it, sprinting it as fast as I could, using everything I had there. And luckily it was enough to break both Clayton and Gillum, who held on for 2nd and 3rd. But so, yeah, I ended up taking care of business. It wasn't quite as comfortable as I wanted it to be, but even though I wouldn't call it a comfortable victory, when there was 30 to 40 meters left, I was able to kind of just chill it out a little bit and save my legs really for regionals, which was this last weekend.
Yeah. I think, you explained it pretty well. I was fairly confident in you winning that for sure. But I think, as you said, with like 300 or 400 to go, I think you had the lead maybe at the bell, but then a couple of people came around you. And then, I mean, you found yourself in not a great spot with 300 to go. But yeah, obviously came through, got the win, closed in 53-1 and eased up the last 30, 40 meters. So quite a solid run. Jake Gillum actually, funnily enough, was the pacer last night in that mile where
cool.
Clayton broke 4. So yeah, and Jack Anstey was in it. So kind of like a conference reunion, Missouri Valley Conference down in St. Louis.
How did Anstey run? I didn't even check that out.
He was second in 3:56.8 something. Paul Ryan won it. Anstey second. Pretty solid day, and another high schooler broke 4. So pretty impressive stuff.
To be honest, though, like outdoors to only run 3:56, like I mean it's good, but like I feel like they're capable of more than that.
So do I. Yeah. I mean, Paul Ryan, he made the final last year outdoor, didn't he, in the 1500, and he ran 3:37 outdoor, I think. Yeah. But solid race. I think.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so good stuff. But anyway, moving on from that, there's not been a whole lot after conference other than straight onto regionals pretty much. So going into regionals, you were ranked right up there. Really strong field this year in the West. The East pretty strong as well, but the East, I think you can agree, was more like top heavy. There was maybe 3 or 4 like standouts, where the West is like 15 guys who all have a real shot. How are you feeling going in?
I was feeling pretty good. Like my training had been going really well, and like I felt like my speed had been like finely tuned to my legs going into regionals. But man, like when the heat sheets came out, I was really worried because just wow, like looking at my heat, I was like, this is just absolutely ridiculous. Like who does this?
Yeah.
Anyway, so in case you guys don't know how regionals works, there is the top 48 people in the West, along with the top 48 people in the East, go on to regionals. And there's a West regionals and an East regionals, i.e. that's why there's 48 in both sides. So, and then the way regionals works is your first round of regionals, you'll cut from 48 guys to 24. So half the people make the next round. And then in the regional final, that'll cut from 24 to 12. And the top 12 from both the West and the East will go on to nationals to race in Oregon, basically.
Yeah. So in each region, 4 heats of 12 goes down to 2 finals of 12. And then from that 12 from each region go on to nationals. A little bit confusing, but yeah, decent.
So when there's 4 heats of 12, especially in the first round of regionals, you're hoping, all right, like hopefully I'm racing against guys that most of which I can beat, like guys that I beat on a fairly daily basis, especially when you're going into regionals ranked. I mean, I was ranked 9th in the region, I think, but I think I'm faster than my PB was at the time. Still is, I guess. But as soon as we got our heat sheets, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. In my heat was Reed Brown, who had just finished 3rd in the indoor mile final. Me, who had just finished 5th in the indoor mile final. Crane Carosa, who had just finished 7th in the indoor mile final. And then Jack Urian, who wasn't he
10th in the indoor mile final? He was an indoor mile.
Yeah. He was in the indoor mile final. So literally
3:54. Yeah.
Four guys that were in the indoor mile final were in my heat. And I'm looking at the heat sheet like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, whoever did this sucks. I hate them. But
didn't you have someone else as well who was not in the indoor mile final but really strong? I can't remember who it was, but
Fouad Messoldi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Who, at the end of the day, like, well, looking back on it, probably wasn't in quite the form we maybe thought he was, or wasn't quite the threat we thought he could be. But looking at that, it was like, there's 5 guys in there, top 5 go through, and you can't afford to make any mistakes. Like, in a regional prelim, it should be, you'd expect it if you're going in ranked 9th out of 48, you'd expect to get through your first round pretty comfortably. But yeah, looking at that prelim, it was like, wow, this is not going to be easy for you.
With Jackson Sharp was in it as well, just like another guy that he's been really consistent.
Yeah. Anchored Wisconsin's DMR at nationals. I think they ended up 3rd.
Yeah. So just there, it was a really strong field for a regional prelim. It was kind of frustrating going into it for me because I thought I was going to be able to jog it. I feel like I ended up being able to jog it. It went out like pretty evenly split paces. Like we were running like 61s every lap kind of thing, 62s, and just kind of jogging along. And then the last lap we closed in like 53, 50, something like that, like we always do really. But I ended up placing 3rd in my prelim heat at regionals, and top 5 people move on from your heat. So I got in pretty comfortably. I finished right behind Reed Brown, who is the guy that got 3rd at indoor nationals, and Craig Carosa, who got 7th at indoor nationals. They finished 1-2. I was right behind them. And so, I made the regional final. And then so that first round was on Wednesday, and then the regional finals on Friday. So I had like a day and a half to recoup, but I knew like, man, I'm going to have to go out here and do it again. And it's probably going to be against just as good of a field because whoever makes these heats likes to screw me over.
Yeah. Screw you over they did.
The regional final was even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it was what they did basically was they combined all the qualifiers from my heat with all the qualifiers from another heat of the 4.
1 and 2, wasn't it? They put heat 1 and 2 together pretty much and swapped the time qualifiers. Yeah.
And it was absolutely ridiculous. I ended up racing. It was me, Carosa, Reed Brown, and then
Joe Wascom,
Cathal Doyle, like Nathan Green, who was running really well. And it was like, what is going on?
Yeah. Probably what, eight guys out of the 12 who you would say are genuine threats. And I mean, the other 3 or 4 or 5, like who you wouldn't count in that kind of top list, are really, really good as well. And on any given day, they could, pull something out and get through. So
guys, again, like Sharp and Zach Stallings, like you never know.
Yeah. Really, really strong field. I was lucky enough to tag along for the regionals trip. The video will be coming out on the Fogdog exclusive very soon. I'm still I'm being a little bit lazy at the moment. I'm working my way through editing. But I remember when that heat sheet came out, it was the Wednesday night, the day of your prelim. And I just thought, because we were rooming together, more to come on the Fogdog exclusive very soon. But I thought, I remember from last year, I think the final heat list came out on the day, as in the night of our prelims. So I thought, I'll have a look. And I looked and said, they've come out. This is pretty strong. And you were pretty mad because it's just like, I don't know, all of the finals, well, both of the finals obviously are strong. Both of the finals are pretty strong. But like yours seem to be, really, really pretty strong. But I mean, obviously most people will know you got the job done. I guess talk us through it. Were you pretty nervous for the final? More nervous than the prelim?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was so nervous because the regional final is like the most important one, especially when you're a guy that's like when you're a guy that just got 5th at indoor, you're projected to make nationals. Like this is something that I have to take care of business, and like everyone expects me to take care of business, but man, it's not easy. Like I think people just like look online, they're like, oh, he made nationals, of course he did, like he always does. But like man, that field is ridiculous. Like, it's so hard to get one of those spots. People really sleep on the difficulty of it. And yeah, going into the regional final, I was like, man, this is something I have to be in this top 5. Like, I have to be.
Yeah.
And when the race started, it was kind of honestly just like the prelim. Like, we ran similar splits. Like, we're just kind of jogging along like 62s every lap. And I found myself, again, I like to do this. I found myself in a really bad spot with 300, 400 to go. It's like I purposely do that. I don't even know what I'm trying to do anymore. I'm just kind of running.
Most of the time you do it on purpose, but I wasn't so sure this time. I was sat with our throwers, and yeah, we saw the first heat go, and I mean, everyone kind of knew with Ryan Shope and that Foad in there, it would probably go quick the first final. And it did. It went out. They were like 42 through 300. I said to the throwers, yeah, this is going to be the quick one. Basten's is going to be an absolute jog. Yours, they ended up running, 338, I think.
Yep.
George Cush and Luke Hauser, 338-ish. So it was a quick one. And then yours, just straight away, just absolute jog fest, which for you, obviously you can close hard, but it's like, it's not ideal, I don't think, because then that only 5 are going through from your final, because obviously it's top 5 from both are guaranteed, and then 2 go through on time. So the first heat, because they went quick, 7 ended up going through, 5 from yours. When the race got going and you knew that, it was a jog, did you have a few nerves thinking like, I mean, obviously then that only 5 are going through. Does it make you a little bit more nervous, I guess, in the moment?
Yeah, I was very nervous in the moment, but honestly, I shouldn't have been really. It was just I was not tactically very smart that day. Like, I kept making moves throughout the race. And I don't know. I felt like I wanted to challenge myself and put myself in like a better position with a lap to go, because I felt like I'd keep putting myself in terrible positions with 300 to go. But like, my legs didn't want me to do that. So I would move up, and then I would move all the way back and move up again. And I'd be like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just wasting energy moving up and back throughout the race when I should just be staying in the same spot and waiting for the lap to go. But with 1 lap to go, when we hit the bell, I was in like 8th place of the 12. And I was like, man, I feel terrible. This is awful. I thought for sure my season was over, but I was like, I have to give it all I have now. Just one last move and just see what happens. And again, like conference, I just kind of started sprinting then. And I ended up putting myself in that top 5 position with 100 meters to go. And the top 4 had we're like in a horizontal line. So I couldn't move around. So I did this awkward like sidestep with like 40 meters to go. It was, I don't know what I was doing. I did this awkward sidestep around Nathan Green, who was in 4th at the time, because I had thought I was in 6th, but I was in 5th. So I really could have just jogged it in behind that group of 4 and made it. But I was like, no, I'm going to step ahead of Green just in case. So I did like this sidestep, ran around Green, and then dipped in for 4th. And so, I got one of the spots, but it was hectic. It was a crazy race. And really good runners like Reed Brown, who'd gotten 3rd at indoor, and Crane Carosa, who'd gotten 7th in indoor, just didn't make it. So it was the type of race that upsets happened, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember seeing you coming into the home straight. I guess with a lap to go, when you were in a pretty bad spot, the throwers who I was sitting with at the time, they were all they were a little bit nervous. They were pretty stressed because obviously as a thrower, I guess you don't really understand a lot about running, but even if you do, you don't want to see yourself in a, really pretty bad spot with a lap to go. But don't worry, I was reassuring them. I said, you'll get it done. And you did, which was really good to see. We got to give a little shout out, I think, to Jackson Sharp, first one out, 2 years in a row. Because last year, obviously, I scraped in 5th. He was 6th. This year, Nathan Green ended up 5th. Jackson Sharp just in 6. So just missed out again. I guess we were in the slow final last year. You were in the slow final this year, and Jackson Sharp was in them both and just missed out both times. But pretty solid season from him. Mentioning upsets, I think I'm going to struggle to think of all of them, but I think there were quite a few, to be honest, at regionals. A few people kind of missing out who should have gone through in the East as well. So I think one of like the, I guess he got through in the 10, but I think Charles Hicks is someone you would have predicted could do the double and get through in the 5 and the 10. Got through in the 10, didn't get through in the 5. Drew Bosley from NAU was like 8th indoor in the 5K, I think. Didn't get through in the 5K. So it's cutthroat. It's 48 guys goes down to 12, and it's if you're not at your absolute best, and if someone has a good day and you don't, you're gonna miss out. Matt Piamps in the East. Yeah. So cutthroat. Yeah. You guys are on 330. Yeah. Jack Salisbury, 337. Both of them missed out.
Yeah, and Matt Piamps is if you haven't been following running for very long, Matt Piamps was a guy that Fogg and I were both a little bit nervous to race at indoor nationals. And then he got dead last in our prelim, and we were kind of shocked like how that happened. And he had a really good outdoor season again, and then went to his East region and got destroyed in the prelim and didn't make it. So that's the guy that, man, I'm starting to wonder if it's pressure that's his problem, or I don't really know what's going on with him, but
could be bad luck. Maybe he had COVID or something before indoor and then an injury outdoor, or I don't know. But
maybe he had his appendix out or something. But
yeah. Stranger things have happened, but I'm sure he'll be back. I don't know if he's got another year. I think he does. Well, he's probably a freshman, knowing the NCAA, but
he's probably a 42-year-old freshman.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of like the national stuff I got through. That's kind of what's going on with me right now. Fogg, now that you're kind of done with the NCAA, tell everyone what you're up to, like what training's been like what, just like kind of what your mindset is going into the summer and going into the next year.
Yeah. So, you mentioned someone having their appendix out. Funnily enough, I actually did 4 weeks today. Believe it or not, time kind of flies. It's 4 weeks to this day. Right now, 4 weeks ago, obviously I was in America and it's kind of midday there right now, I think. So I was in a little bit of pain. I'd just gone to the hospital, and in about, 2 hours from now, 4 weeks ago, they told me it was D-Day for my appendix and it was going to be taken out. So that kind of, I've said this 100 times, but ended my season in the NCAA. I came back to America 3 days ago after getting to travel to regionals and watch Basten and the team, including Aziz, our steepler, and the throwers as well. Shout out Anthony Baum, a hammer thrower from Drake, freshman, technically through to nationals, which is sick. Drake. And now I'm back in England. So as I said at the start, I just got back from a run, did a few strides, which is my first time running quick in a month. So it's slow going, pretty slow progress, but I'm feeling pretty good. Still a tiny bit sore when I'm running, and I felt it a little bit on the strides. I've just got to be careful still with healing from the appendix. You can risk doing some damage if you overdo it too quickly, kind of too hard too early. But I'd say overall I'm feeling pretty good. I'm as good as I could be, I think, 4 weeks post appendix surgery. Planning on having a little workout tomorrow, and then briefly touch on it at the start. If all goes well, hopefully I'll run either an 800 or a 1500 in 11 days, probably. Just at a fairly maybe just at a fairly low meet. Just to literally give my legs a bit of a shock and get used to that racing feeling again. Whether it's an 800 or a 1500 or nothing remains to be seen. I'm going to try working out tomorrow, just something super easy. well, hopefully it will be easy. 6 weeks ago, I would have laughed at it. But that's my plan. And yeah, hopefully an 800 or a 1500 in about 11 days from now, see how we go. And then another 10 days after that is the British Champs 1500 prelims, the heats. They'll be stacked. Josh Kerr, Jake Whiteman, Jake Hayward, all Olympic finalists. Three.
Fogg.
Yeah, true. Me in there. The four big dogs: Kerr, Hayward, Whiteman, and Fogg. Yeah, they all made the Olympic final. So and then there's so many others as well who are really running pretty well right now. So it's gonna be hard to even make the final. If I make the final, I'll be very, very happy. Just kind of based on where I'm at right now. But who knows? I mean, I only actually had a couple of weeks properly off running, and I still don't feel great running at the moment, but I'm sure I can't have lost too much. So I've got 3 weeks, and hopefully I can make those 3 weeks count and maybe be in decent form. That's the plan. Get in decent shape and try and run as well as I can. So we'll see. 3 weeks from now, I'll have hopefully got through my heat, and then tomorrow, 3 weeks from now, I'll be British 1500 champ, 3:35, and I'll be on the plane. Well, 3:34.99 on the plane to Eugene. So world champs.
Look at that.
Yeah. Wishful thinking, but no. So going all right. And then even after the British champs, there's the chance to run a few meets in England and Europe. And then I haven't really touched on it too much, but after this summer, hopefully we'll be coming back to America, all still a little bit up in the air. Hopefully joining a group. Still up in the air, but that's the plan. I feel like I'm quite a long way through the process, but you just never know with these things. I feel like it's one of those things where I won't be able to feel confident fully on it until it's done, So we'll see.
Yeah.
Exciting times though. Yeah.
Is it still the plan, like Abercrombie's running team?
Abercrombie and Fitch, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a new running team, yeah. Get some cool clothes with it as well. Perfect. Can't beat that. Yeah.
Nah, but in general, like, I feel like I don't know how many people know this, but like when you go pro, you sign with a brand, like you get a shoe deal. So like you can sign with like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Reebok, right? Like they're a specific brand to sign with, and then you're like sponsored by that company. And then you'll like join a group with other athletes sponsored by that company, and you'll train together and race together. And it's like one big happy family.
Yeah, it is. So hopefully it will be. That's the dream. I think everyone going through college like dreams of keeping it going after college and essentially making a bit of a living. You're not ever going to be a millionaire unless you're Jakob or you're running really well. But hopefully that can work out, and it can be a happy family where I join a group, and yeah, fun times. And I think that if that does happen, all I'll be doing is focusing on running, which is just so great for trying to actually get good at running. If running's all you're focused on, I think you should be doing pretty well at running. So hopefully that's what happens, and hopefully the next couple of years, who knows, I can get better and run decently. We'll see. But if it all falls through, I've got another year at Drake, so might be seeing you in the fall, Basten. But
that'd be nuts.
Probably not. But we'll see. Anyway, for yourself, nationals in a week from now, you'll have had your prelim on Wednesday. Prelim is guaranteed. Obviously, you've qualified for nationals. That's 5 days from now. You've got your prelim, and then a week from now is the final. So, some big names, some big dogs in the NCAA. Pretty strong field. how are you feeling going in?
Feeling pretty good. Obviously, if you've watched some of these podcasts, I'm kind of a research-oriented guy. I like to study this kind of crap. So I went back and looked at the last 3 or 4 nationals to see if there's a trend on how they make the heats, and there's absolutely none. That's what I've learned.
Wow.
Yeah. So last year in 2021, all they did was they went in the order of the West and the East prelim results, and they switched the number 2 ranked guy, the number 10 ranked guy, and the number 12 ranked guys. They just flopped them. And so, Fogg, you were the 10th ranked guy, so you were in the East heat, and you went along with the number 2 ranked guy went and raced the East guys. And we were in separate heats, but I was racing basically the whole West.
Yeah.
With an exception of guys, and you're racing the whole East with an exception of 3 guys. And so that was how it worked in 2021. Wow. And then in 2020, there were 8 guys in the East and 8 guys in the West in both heats.
2019.
2019. Yeah, there was no nationals 2020 COVID. Yeah. But 2019, there were 8 guys in each. So completely different. And then I went and looked at the year before that, and it was 7 and 5. And I was like, all right, well, there's no way. There's no way to know.
No way of predicting it.
Yeah. So even though, like you said, there's no way of predicting it, the heat sheet should come out on Monday. So I'll find out then and kind of just get to prepare for that. But going into it, I'll probably race more guys in the West than the East. That's just kind of what usually happens. But there are definitely some big names in the East that I feel like I'll have to prepare for if I'll be racing against any of them. And they're kind of 4 guys in my mind, at least, that I think of guys that have repeatedly either beat me or guys that have went on big hot streaks this year.
Yeah.
And really raced well at regionals. So obviously there's Garcia Romo, who's your defending indoor champ and hasn't lost many races this year.
Yeah. Has he lost outdoor?
Yeah, he lost 1 race.
So that Asai guy from Carolina?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Garcia Romo, who's won indoor and has only lost 1 race outdoor, 1 SEC title in the 15, and just kind of looks unbeatable right now. Won both his prelim and his final regionals. He's definitely a guy that going into nationals, I want to get another chance against, because I think if I race everything perfectly, I can beat him.
Yeah.
But that's a guy who I'd say if I race him 10 times, he's going to beat me more than I beat him. So
yeah.
That's a guy that I'd have to have a really good day if I wanted to beat him. And
stranger things have happened, Haywood magic. I agree. He's obviously in pretty good form. And then we mentioned him briefly, that Anas Asai, I think that's his name. Don't know where he's from, but he goes to Carolina. Is it?
Yeah, South Carolina.
Yeah.
He's another interesting name that is also undefeated this outdoor season, hasn't lost, and he's the only guy that's beaten Mario Garcia Romo this year in the NCAA.
Yeah.
But he's another guy that won his prelim and then won his final at regionals, and he was in other heats. Obviously, he never raced against Romo because they both won both their prelim and their finals. So those are kind of the biggest 2 probably threats in the East. And then after that, there's obviously Eliud Kipsang, who
333
has run 333 this year and is your NCAA national record holder in the 1500. The fact that I'm saying he's the 3rd biggest threat in the East is kind of crazy, but he tends to. I mean, hopefully doesn't happen. You never cheer for people to do bad or anything, but he tends to not race as well towards the end of the year as he does in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And I mean, not saying that trend is necessarily came true again, but he did lose to Asai in both rounds at regionals. So you never know what kind of form he's in, but But I would say when he's in his best form, he's pretty much unbeatable.
Yeah, very, very hard to beat. Yeah.
As far as the NCAA goes, like if he runs 3:33, nobody's going to beat him. Like he's going to win nationals. But I think all of us are kind of counting on the fact that he's probably not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, you'd hope. So, I do know what you mean. Like obviously you can't predict anything, but looking at, I guess, indoor last year before nationals, he ran, I think he split like 351 or 352 in a DMR and looked pretty comfy doing it. And then obviously at nationals, he ran really, really well indoor, came second in an absolutely loaded national indoor mile final. Yeah, that was really pretty good. But then outdoor, obviously, like you mentioned, he made the final and then he came fourth, I think. So he ran well. But I do know what you mean. Like I would agree he's probably like the third biggest threat. He has lost to Asai and Romo. I mean at SECs he was, I don't even know, third, fourth, fifth in the 1500, maybe second. I really don't know, but I know he didn't win. So he's hard to predict, but as you say, he's an incredible runner, and if he's in his best shape, he will win. Because 3:33, I don't think Garcia Romo, I don't think Asai, like I don't think you're quite in that shape yet. I know you can run quicker than your PB, but I think 3:33 is incredible, and if he runs that, if he's in his best shape, pretty much impossible to beat at this stage in the NCAA. But definitely some big dogs. I'm looking forward to watching. It'll be the middle of the night here in England. We're 6 hours ahead of Central Time. Oh wow, we're gonna be 8 hours ahead of Eugene, so it's gonna be so late. But I'll get up. Hopefully there'll be some dodgy YouTube live stream. That's what I'm relying on. That's what I'm banking on.
I think it'll be on ESPN Plus too, and I can give you my login for that if you want.
Dude, I don't think it works here because in the past, like when I've run, say it, I don't know, nationals indoor or whatever, I've sent the login of someone, I don't know, Jay or like Connor Visnick on the team, to my parents back home, and it hasn't worked because you have to be in America for ESPN Plus to work for some reason. I'm sure there's a way around it, but I don't know that way. So dodgy YouTube live stream, that's the plan.
So those three guys are probably the biggest threats in the East. There's also Thomas Vannepen from Wake Forest, who got second to Romo in both the prelim and the final. Yeah. And he's been winning everything as well this year. He's been really, really good. So those, I mean, and then there's obviously Nick Dahl from indoor, but I mean, man, after those 4 or 5 guys, it
drops off, doesn't it?
It gets pretty slim in the East. Like there are names that I've never even heard of that got cues into internationals. So like, I mean, in the West, we probably don't have quite that top end. I mean, we have guys like Jonathan Davis who won both the prelim and the final and's been winning everything. And then I mean, I guess
John Davis, Wascombe.
Yeah, like it's
Hauser, Kush, Adam like Spencer. Everyone's really solid. Like, and I've probably missed out a few people there, but everyone's really solid, aren't they?
Yeah, like we don't have like guys in the East that have like won national titles or finished second or like that kind of stuff like year after year. Like those 2 guys have in the East, and really those 4 guys are capable of doing. But we have literally all 12 of our qualifiers in the West. Like, man, we're all just really good. Yeah. Like there's no drop off in the West. It's really consistent and everybody's really even. Yeah. But in the East, it seems like there are 4 to 5 guys that are capable of winning a championship, and then guys that aren't going to get through.
Yeah, I'd predict that more people will get through to the final from the West than the East, unless they put everyone from the West in one heat and everyone from the East in the other heat. Maybe for you they'll add in, they'll take out a couple of guys. Maybe the small Qs from the West will get swapped, and they'll put in Garcia Romo and Asai into your heat just to mix it up. But I mean,
They
you can have
totally
the
would
fake
do
feet
that.
guys. Yeah. I wouldn't
They
be
totally
surprised.
would. Like,
Yeah.
I'm expecting that to happen.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting. Do you fly out Sunday? So Friday today, you fly out Sunday?
Yep, fly out in a couple days. And oh, by the way, I did it just for fun. So if they do the exact same thing they did last year, they'll flip Jonathan Davis and Garcia Romo.
Oh wow.
So it'll be the West with Garcia Romo.
Wow. And maybe one or two others from
and the
lower down.
10
Okay.
Well. So
that would be okay. But yeah, having Garcia Romo added kind of you would expect would take away one of those top. Is it top 5 as well? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
They do top 5 still. Yeah. You would almost have to give him a spot in the final. Who knows? Anything can happen, but
Garcia Romo is as big of a lock as there is in this to make the final. And I mean that
anything can happen, but yeah, for sure. But no, that'll be good. So fly out Sunday, probably heat sheets Monday. We'll be watching and looking forward to it. And then so I feel like that's kind of it for the Nationals preview. Looking forward to that. And then potentially still US trials on the cards a couple of weeks after.
Yep. I'm not quite sure so the way it works is the top 32 guys in the US in 1500 will get to go to the US trials. And that's based solely off of your best time that you've run. So your
in
PR.
The year, or this season. Yeah.
Yep. And I've never been really a time trialer. Like my time isn't, I think I'm a little bit better than my time is. So unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it to US trials. Obviously, I hope I'm in. I'm probably like on the cusp, like really close, like on the verge of making it. But if I run a PB at Nationals, I'll probably make trials pretty easily. But it's just, I don't know yet if I'm going to make it. So if I do make it, I'll be back in Oregon in a couple of weeks after Nationals to race at US trials to try to get a spot on the world's team. But I mean, that's a ridiculous feat. So
oh dude, I mean, who knows? I wouldn't put it past you. Like, stranger things have happened. You just never know. You put yourself in there, and if you're in there with 300 to go, you'll probably be in a pretty bad spot, I would imagine, but find a way. So
there's no way I'll be in a good spot. I would never do that. But it's kind of funny. It almost seems like it'll be harder for you to get a spot than me, because England, there's just like 3 really good guys and only 3.
It's kind of like the East, as in you say Kerr, Whiteman, Hayward are a step above the rest. I mean, there's like Charlie Grice. I think he might have been injured, Charlie Grice. He's run 3:31 though in the past, or maybe even 3:30, 1500, obviously. And then there's after that a whole bunch of guys who are 3:33 to 3:45. So it's loaded, but I feel like those top 3 are pretty strong. Kerr, obviously, Olympic medalist, and then Whiteman and Hayward, both Olympic finalists from last year. So I would assume they're all going to run, and I would assume that they're all in pretty decent shape if they're running. But who knows? Anything can happen. If I end up on that world's team, I'm going to have an incredible next few weeks. But I'm just hopefully I can just have a solid few weeks and run okay at the trials. If I get into the final, I'll be pretty happy because it's loaded regardless. Like, the heats are going to be pretty loaded. I'll hopefully get into the final, and then after that there's a good hopefully few meets to try and run quick and salvage a little bit of the back end of the season, I guess. So we'll see, but it's fairly open in the US. Like, Hocker and Centrowitz is out, obviously. Like, for anyone who didn't see, he tore his ACL. I think he just got surgery, so he'll be out. He said 3 months till he's back running. I'm pretty sure on an ACL, like, it's not going to be 3 months.
Oh,
The doctors told me 4 weeks for the appendix, like, and I was back jogging in 2, but the doctors surely would tell him a year. Like, you can't be running on a surgery ACL in 3 months, I don't think.
And I mean, 3 months is after the season anyway. There's no way he's going to be back.
Yeah. But as well, just to touch on it a little bit more, Centro out. Yared has been injured. Yared's had a strange year. Feel a little bit bad for him, I guess. Incredible runner, ran 7:38 3K indoor.
Yeah, he's disappeared. It's weird.
Yeah. Hawker, obviously, good form. Cooper Tier, if he runs good form.
Yeah.
And then it's fairly open, to be honest.
Yeah. Sure. After Hawker and Tier, if Tier even does it, man, it's really open. And like, I don't know, like Engels, I don't know what he's doing, if he's even like,
I don't know if he's run.
Engels is weird. Like, he won US champs in 2019 and then just kind of hasn't done anything except for have a good looking mullet since then.
Yeah. I mean, I can't deny it. Yeah.
I don't know what he's up to, but he's a guy that I would love to like.
Yeah.
Like, if it's up to me and him in the last 50, like, good. I think I could be right. I don't know.
Yeah. No, for that third spot. No, I agree. So
dude, it genuinely could be like Jonathan Davis.
Yeah.
Like, he might be the biggest threat.
Yeah. He'd probably have to run a qualifying time for Worlds because it's 3:35 flat. I know Hawker didn't have it last year, but I think because he won US trials and he'd won NCAAs and stuff, he got in on his world ranking. Davis might. I don't know. You probably know more about that than me, but
I genuinely don't know.
Probably would have to run a qualifying time. So maybe a national heat, national final could be quick.
What would happen? Let's say, like, if Hawker and Tier go 1-2, and then like someone like me gets third and my world rank doesn't get me in. Like, what would they just bring 2, or would they like roll down to the next finisher who's run 3:34?
I think they would if someone's got a qualifying time. They would roll down because I think you would unfortunately just be like excluded. I don't know that for sure, but I think if they have 3 people, obviously Hawker and Tier would be, if they went 1-2, they'd be guaranteed. I think they would then go down and they'd fill the team just because someone else has a qualifying time. I think you would get priority though, and if you could get in on world ranking, obviously they take you. But then if not, I would assume that they take a 3:34 guy who finished, say, 5th. Because I feel like they should. Otherwise, that would be a little bit harsh. Maybe they don't though.
Does Engels have the standard?
I
know we did last year, but I don't think that rolls over.
He ran 3:33 last year in Portland, I think.
Has it anymore? Like, I know
that counts, yeah.
And I don't think he's run anything this year that particularly well anyway.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, I just try to think of guys that like might have the standard. I genuinely like don't even know who would like be the favorite after Hawker and Tier. Like, it's just a big drop off.
There are, again, obviously, like there would be, you'd expect at a national level. There's quite a few guys who are good, really good, but like,
it's really, nobody on Hawker and Tier's level. They're like a step above everyone else, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, definitely, I completely agree. Wow, who knows? I've kind of gone from thinking like you might not be into trials to you could be on that Worlds team. So.
Dude.
Extend that season.
America's so weird right now, man. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But we're obviously getting ahead of ourselves. I barely made it in nationals, so we'll see. But
don't know about that.
You never know.
Yeah. No, good stuff. I think that's kind of covered pretty much everything we had to talk about. Is there anything else? Anything else we missed?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
Your stomach's looking great.
Yeah. I'm healing, getting those abs back. I'll be looking great with the maps soon.
Did you shave your stash, by the way?
Yeah, dude, I did. Yeah. Did you?
Dude,
did you?
I did it on accident.
Really? On accident? As in you were shaving and then you realized you got rid of it?
like I was shaving my beard, and then like right when I finished, it's just like habit for me to go to the
Yeah.
mustache, and then
Yeah.
I shaved one strip, and I was like, oh, I can't just like shave one strip
Yeah,
out.
yeah. No,
And
yeah,
so
for sure. Dude,
yeah,
I got back to England and I just felt so filthy and pretty like overweight. So having like a big neck beard, I mean, I had shaved the neck beard and kept the mo for a little bit, but dude, I just can't pull it off. I don't know.
dude, I don't think anyone can pull it off, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
not terrible, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I don't know. But either way, yeah, that's probably it. If you have any questions for us, drop them in the comments. But and then we'll probably make another video after
nationals.
Yeah.
And
then
talking about if you got into US trials or not, because straight after nationals, fairly soon after, you should know if you're in or not.
Yeah, I'll surely know. Yeah. And then we can make another video after your British trials as well, just to talk about that one. But
sick. When we're both on the team, we might as well just wait and do a live one in Eugene when we're there for Worlds next month. So,
dude, if that happens, you guys better blow our podcast up.
Yeah. That'd be sick. But no, good stuff. All right, with that, thank you everyone for watching and listening, whatever you're on. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll see you in the next episode.
Cool.
Brilliant.